Noam Chomsky, academic, he was noted as saying that sport is purely there to distract the masses and it instills an irrational loyalty
It's interesting.
at an early age. Do you agree?
Well, I'll tell you what, I admire Noam Chomsky. I've never seen that. It's a very interesting point. The first thing I would say is, distract the masses. I mean, that's the line of bread and circuses. Give the people bread and circuses, and you'll rule the world. I think that's either Shakespeare or Caesar, one of those boogers. But it's not. There is no unit in Canberra saying we'll give them sport, we'll distract the masses. Nevertheless, if I was a New Zealand Prime Minister, I would call an election straight after the All Blacks have won a World Cup because the nation's feeling good about itself. If I wouldn't be having, and that affects the mood. So in Australia, the national mood can alter depending on sporting results. We're about to play 10 Ashes tests. I suspect we're about to get thumped in 10 Ashes tests, and the national mood will be a bit down.
The whole issue with Adam Goodes and the 13-year-old Collingwood fan calling him an ape, is that an example of irrational loyalty?
It's an example of racism.
Do you think that she would have acted that way if her team was winning?
I don't know.
This whole situation with Andrew Symonds in India, 2007, he was called a monkey, okay? Now, you call someone a monkey, do you think it's different to be calling someone an ape?
What I will say is this, that for anybody to call anybody a monkey or an ape, particularly now, if you called me an ape, and I've been called an ape, no, seriously, I'm a big man. I've got a beard, so I've been called an ape, and a Neanderthal, frequently called that. Now that is no comment on my race, and I happen to be a white Australian male. Now, white Australian males, we have no history of being a minority group. There's nothing in our DNA to put us in the corner and to be abused and that. So if somebody calls me an ape, they're just saying you're a big ugly lug. And I've heard that, and it's not racist. But if you call a black man an ape, that is, it's like calling a black man boy. Particularly an American black man, because there is a whole history of white men saying, boy, bring me a beer, boy, go and cut down the cane, all that. So therefore, when a white male says it to a black male in America, boy, and even here, boy, it's got heavily racist overtones. So in the case of Andrew Symonds, anybody that calls Andrew Symonds a monkey is inherently racist because there is a whole history of that. But it's particularly racist when it's a white person doing it because they have been the oppressive class.
I was asked several times during the Adam Goodes saga whether ape was a racial term. Even posing that question, do you believe that lacks emotional intelligence?
Totally.
Do you think that stemming from that, we sort of mask racism through larrikinism?
Sometimes, yes, perhaps, and it's not acceptable.
Do you think that sort of narrows the way we think and limits the way we see things in perspective?
Not particularly.
When a player changes teams, okay, and you're a fan and you see your player changing teams to a rival club, right? You boo him because, looking at it from the outside in, he's wearing a different coloured shirt. Now, is that rational?
Not really.
No, but it happens, doesn't it?
It does happen. I mean, I suppose it's my line is I like sport, but I like sport very much as the pepper and salt of my life, not the main meal. And when sport becomes the main meal of people's lives, they lose perspective. I mean, it's interesting. You and I are talking in Sydney, and in Sydney is a mosaic of different sporting loyalty. So here people don't necessarily define themselves by the sport they follow, but some say, I'm a rugby league person, I'm a soccer person, I'm a rugby union person, or whatever. In Melbourne, it's pretty much all AFL, and people define themselves. I'm a Collingwood supporter, or I'm a St Kilda supporter, and it's weird for me that, you follow St Kilda, but what else do you do? No, I'm a St Kilda supporter. That's who I am.
That's irrational loyalty, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you think governments look to capitalise on that irrational loyalty?
I can't think of a particular way they do. I think that, I'm a great critic of the government providing too much money for elite sport. In fact, I said last night at this function to the New South Wales Sports Minister, Graham Annesley, I said, he's got 150 million to spend every year. And I said, your job, in my view, is to make the grassroots grow, to provide the ovals, to provide the basketball courts, the tennis courts that the community can't provide for themselves. That's where the money should go. It shouldn't be going to the NRL, it shouldn't be going to the AFL, it shouldn't be going to the rugby union or the soccer crowd. They are businesses. The elite ends of those crowds, they generate hundreds of millions of dollars. They are businesses, so it's not the role of government to give businesses that are already making tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars more money. The role of government is to get the kids out in the parks running around and running into each other.
People are more inclined to recognise Joey Johns on the street rather than Anthony Albanese, right?
Yes.
Yes, so doesn't that in a sense prove that everything is sort of undercover? The people at the top don't want you to sort of get involved in things that really matter, so they provide this decoy.
People love sports people like they don't love politicians, but there's no conspiracy by the government to, give money to sport and then we'll distract the people. I don't.
Subconsciously, though, it could be that way. Athletes bring a lot of attention to social issues. Muhammad Ali, the civil rights movement, Billie Jean King, feminism. There is a point there of putting these people out there because they are powerful, they do draw a lot of attention, and therefore, inadvertently or advertently, they take the people's minds off what's going on. You ask anyone on the street about certain policies the governments want to target for the upcoming election, do you think they can tell you?
Well, are you saying that if you got rid of sport, people would be more politically engaged?
No, I'm saying that if we didn't place so much emphasis on sport through the media, have it on our front pages and everything, maybe people would be a bit more socially aware.
The reason that sport is on the front page is not because of some conspiracy in Canberra or not conspiracy anywhere, that's what bloody well sells.